Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm for Classic and welcome to BenchART. So it have been a lot of time since I came here with the new tests. I've been very sick but I couldn't really let the opportunity of trying Red Dead Redemption 1 on the PC and see how it fares on the GTX 1650 Super, because despite this is a 14-year-old port, it's a DX12 title, it is an improved title, and so I decided to take the game to the tests in multiple different resolutions and also multiple different settings. So I decided to start with the eye settings, which is probably the most stable setting I did find out for 1080p. It provides a super smooth experience above 60 frames per second. We even get bottlenecked, so which means that if you have a more recent CPU, you can expect better results even with the GTX 1650 Super. It also means that if you have a worse CPU or worse memory kits and stuff like that, your performance will be worse than what you are seeing in here, because look at my GPU usage, it is around 95, 92, you could saw at the beginning around 80%, so it doesn't seem really like a very good port in that sense. It seems that this is a very old title, but it seems to the CPU to struggle to sustain high frame rates, which is weird. Also, there is one thing that I want to point out, is that the game speed feels weird. I think Digital Foundry already pointed that out on the preview that they had with the game, which the game, when it's not running at 30 frames per second, which that's not the case that we are doing in here, of course, we are trying to target an experience above 60, and we are getting 100 though, the game speed gets entirely destroyed. So it seems like if you look to the stones at the border, it seems that at the border of the screen, it seems that it goes more faster, and then more slower, and then more slower, and then more faster. So something is off, and Digital Foundry also pointed this as an issue that they did expect it to be solved in the launch version, and unfortunately it is. This is quite disappointing, because this is a 14-year-old port to the PC. It includes very nice technologies like FSR 3, and I'm not sure if it packs the LSS or not, but the port is not great, in my opinion. I think it consumes too much single core CPU, but I don't think that at the same point this is not an issue, because we have very strong CPUs. But for example, if we got an old CPU, even from that era, but much more stronger, probably it isn't enough to feed the game with the same experience that the console had at the time. So it's a good enough port for the today's standards, although it's disappointing that it seems that the game speed is broken. So for $50, unless they fix this, I don't recommend to buy it, honestly, or unless somebody finds a workaround, because this is quite distracting. I wish I was ignorant and I didn't knew that this issue existed, because I could probably not notice it, or my eyes could not notice it or something. But no, I know this issue exists. I knew it since the beginning that I decided to benchmark the game, that something was off with the game speed, and after a quick search, it was confirmed that the game speed is broken unless you play it at 30 frames per second. Oh my god, why? Why this is happening in nowadays? Now we are looking at 1080p extreme settings in here. I did let this cutscene run over a lot, didn't I? Oh yeah, I did. I think I just skipped it in here. Yeah. And this also offers an experience above 60 frames per second, but it seems that sometimes the frame times spike a little bit here and there. And I'm not really sure if you are V-Seeked at 60 frames per second, if you won't be noticing those small drops or those small blips. It's not a big deal. I think that the experience will be above 60 frames per second all the time, none of the less, but I feel like the high settings is more stable. Now the difference in between high settings and ultra, it is essentially on the shadow quality from high to ultra, or ultra to low, and in the draw distances and level of details, which the bars are set to the halfway through when you select the eye preset. It's noticeable, that difference, but I don't think it is a huge deal. And also, it seems that dropping the shadows from ultra to high makes much more impact in the frame rate than messing around with the level of details and the grass density. It does impact though, but shadow quality impacts much more, and it's hardly any different between ultra to high. So probably I would try and advise you to try first to drop shadow quality from ultra to high, and then if performance is not enough for you, then try to reduce the level of details to what is you know, tied to the high presets. All right. Um, but like I said, I do get 60 frames per second in here, but we are very close to drop. I'm not really sure what is going on with the rest of the game, if it is going to be more demanding or not. If it gets more demanding, you can expect drops below than 60, although if you go with the high presets, I don't think we will have any drop. Now let's move on to other resolutions like 1440p. You need a split screen at 1440p, and on the left you have 1440p high settings, and on the right you have in here 1440p ultra settings. So basically the ultra settings, it isn't really able to provide you an experience above 60 frames per second or a locked 60. It's good if you have a variable refresh rate or if you want to target 30 frames per second, but apart from that it's not really that great. Alright, and so that's why I do recommend you to go with 1440p high settings, because it does provide an experience overall above 60 frames per second, and it should be pretty easy to reach it. So with this, I will come back at the 4K split screen.
If you say so, take it easy until we're out of town. Ain't no point in causing a ruckus. Whoa there.
So another split screen, this time at 4K. On the left we have 4K high settings using FSR 3 on its quality mode, which is what gave us the better performance of this free split screen. Then we have 4K high settings, which grants us a good frame rate above 30 frames per second. On the right we have 4K ultra settings, which also does provide a good experience above 30, but I'm seeing the frame rate dipping down below of that to 29. I know I'm recording it all, but still it's tense, it's complicated. So if you want to target 30 frames per second, I think you should go with 4K high settings. I think it's a good thing. And if you have a variable refresh rate screen, or you just want a high frame rate and you don't care about 60, you can go with 4K high settings using FSR 3 on its quality mode. Now for people that does prefer to have a 60 frames per second experience and want to play at 4K, my recommended settings is for you to go with median settings, FSR 3. The median settings put all these level of details bar to the minimum. It raises contact hardening shadows to differing shadows. It reduces the anisotropic filtering from 8 or 16 to 4. And shadow quality, it's stuck to median settings. So there is huge downgrades in here, apparently. But in visual quality, I mean, this looks more or less the same. Yeah, that's the thing. And the experience is above 60. It might not be through the entire game, as you could saw. Exiting the saloon, we got 60 frames per second in there, so yeah, it might not be a rock solid stable 60 frames per second. You might want to decrease if you want FSR 3 from its quality to balanced. But still, if you have a 4K screen, it does really provides a good experience above 60. I know it's an old game and all, but we are testing in here, and it seems that whatever, if you go with 4K high settings with FSR or not, it seems that we are not really reaching there. The median settings, despite there is a lot of downgrades in here, the visuals remain mostly the same, because I mean, even the distance, I was expecting to see a lot of popping in the grass, but apparently it seems to be more in line the same. Possibly if I put 2 screenshots or 3 screenshots in between the median, the high and the ultra, I can notice difference, obviously, in density and distance. But still, it's impressive nonetheless. I mean, if this is the minimum bars you can go for the distance of the grass, I was expecting to the lawn mower grower coming in here and cut all the grass. But no, it's not really the case. We have lots of grass, even with the minimum grass density and distances. So yeah, I think that I'm surprised with that in that sense. I was expecting potato graphics, but Medium doesn't look really that potato, to be honest. Okay, so let's check it out at this farm. And yeah, it's very close to drop, but it doesn't drop even the shadows on Medium, and using Differing instead of contact hardening shadows. It does look really good, honestly. Possibly the whole settings is the potato mold, but I don't think I need to try it. I think medium settings does provide an experience above 60 at 4K using FSR on its quality mode. And that's the setting that I do recommend if you want to play at 4K. So I think that's all, guys. Thank you a lot for watching. In case you have any doubts, just leave on the comment section of the video. That's it. Thank you a lot for watching, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.